How does it feel to have lived so long?
To have what?
To have lived such a long life. How's that feel?
Good.
Like, what are some, what was your early childhood like growing up?
Can you hear him okay, Martha?
I can't hear.
Yeah, yeah.
You're really going to have to speak up.
Okay.
My hearing aids don't work.
Yeah. Martha, tell him about your child. He wants to know about your childhood.
About my what?
Childhood. When you were a kid.
Oh. Well, I lived on a farm.
Okay. And what was that like?
Oh, that was a great place.
Yep.
I look back at that and I think how lucky I was to grow up on a farm. Well, up until I was 11 years old, I guess, we moved.
And where did you move to? Where did you move to?
Where did you move to?
We moved into the village.
Redwood.
A little village called Redwood.
Okay. And where is Redwood?
That's 7 miles inland from Alexandria Bay. And Redwood was built because of glass factories.
Okay.
Was what built that village.
And what time was this? Like around which decade?
Well, it would be. It would be.
Late 20s. Late 20s?
Or 30.
I wouldn't know. I never paid attention to any of that stuff in those days. But it was way
She
back.
was 11, so
Okay.
11 from 17 would be 28, right? 17 and 11 is 28.
Oh, you're adding them. I thought you were subtracting
No,
it. Okay.
28.
Yeah.
So why did you move to Redwood?
Well, my father lost his eyes when we were on the farm, and he was blind. And the farm work was too much for my mother, even though we had a hired farmer, had a hired hand. We had to move into town. I missed the horses. When I was 8 years old, I was driving horses
Wow.
on a hay wagon.
And what was that like?
Well, I don't know. It was just an everyday's job.
Did you enjoy it though?
Oh, sure. Anything with horses, I enjoyed it. Well, after I was married, I lived in Redwood. We finally bought a house of our own, and
She raised 5 children in Redwood
yeah,
until he got his job here, and the 2 oldest had already graduated, so they stayed behind, and the 3 youngest kids came here with her in 1964.
Oh wow.
at one time we had a building up on a hill. That was after I was married and had 1 kid. And we had to take turns of going up there to watch airplanes. You remember that? We had to know when there's any airplanes around, and especially up there by the border, the Canadian border.
That's true. Wow. Yeah.
And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I had to be there, and I had to walk for probably 15 minutes. Had to put a baby in a carriage, push him, take him for the forenoon, I had to stay until noon. Then somebody else came. Then I could go home. Had to be sure and have enough food for him.
Wow.
But what was the purpose of doing all that? Like, who asked you to do that?
She reaches some hits. And the Coumadin, yeah.
Well, it had to be some people out of Watertown.
It was funny. Bert was there the other day.
I don't know
There was no
what kind of people, but it had to be somebody that was in the upper parts of things.
It all comes out in the bruises.
He can't make house calls?
Yeah.
So what are some of the hobbies that you've had throughout your life?
Well, mostly after I got down here and had more time, I crocheted. But now I can't see to do it, and it irks me no end. When I got 99, I lost eyesight.
But she reads like 2 books a week
Oh yeah.
with magnifiers.
Yeah,
She's got large print books.
I got this thing here that I wear on my head.
It's tough for the library to keep her in books. I mean, really.
That and the iPad playing solitaire is the only thing I can do. But I used to make Granny Square lap robes for the veterans. There was a lady in Prattsville that every fall she always took a trip up with all the stuff that people made for them. Because there's people in Lexington that crochet for them too.
So what was that like, seeing all the crochet work being sent to veterans?
Well, and in later years, they made hats to send overseas for the newborns and babies. They were sitting there, but I don't know. There are a couple.
Which one? Is this it?
Once in a while,
Yes.
there was
They would
somebody that went to
She
Africa.
made these to send overseas for newborns,
Oh wow.
like over to India and stuff.
Yeah. What decade was that?
But just before she couldn't crochet, so well into her 90s, she was
Wow.
making these.
That's so cute. I know.
Yeah, we made those little hats. The last time the lady went, we sent the yarn and let them make their own.
She made the dolls that are up there, crocheted the outfits and stuff.
Oh wow.
Oh, I love to do that stuff.
And the dolls in the bottom part of the thing, she would make the dresses for those.
I
She
used
did
to
them for anniversaries and birthdays.
I used to make money dolls.
Put money on them.
What is your secret for living such a long life?
She was here the other day.
Well, I don't know. I never ate a lot of junk,
I said to her at the party, I said,
and I wasn't a drinker. I liked one drink now and
"Be
then,
hobbling."
but I wasn't a drinker. And late years,
The oyster stew for her.
every time they come out with a food that was good for the body, that's what I ate. I always read that, kept it in mind, and eat that way.
They told her omega-3 was good, so she takes omega-3. They tell her lutein is good for her eyes, so she takes lutein.
Yeah, I was into vitamins for the extra stuff in the body, and I think it paid off, and the doctors claim they aren't any good. They'll never convince me of that.
What advice would you give for people today to experience life to its fullest? What would you give them?
Well, to eat the proper food and get their exercise.
What, give her something.